Artificial intelligence. What is AI? Artificial intelligence. Just like how our brains function to facilitate intelligent thought processes, we incorporate neural nets modeled after our brain to create an artificial form of intelligence. Neural networks are a computational circuit of layers consisting of millions of nodes modeled after our neurons in our brains. Nodes are just a computational input or output unit comparable to an individual neuron. Deep learning is a branch of machine learning techniques that are built on those neural networks. It allows the artificial intelligence to stack information it learns and recall it in future algorithmic computations similar to your own memory. When you feed mass amounts of data to the AI, it's able to identify patterns, derive conclusions if you ask it a question about the data, and it can make predictions based on the data. When you grasp just how vast the amounts of data we've accumulated is, and are constantly streaming to the main centralized databases, you see that those in possession of the data can use AI to gain a godlike advantage. Truly, and when you start to see how the technology is advancing, you realize it poses one of the greatest threats to human existence, depending on who exactly owns it all. You've heard this before. And through predictive programming, you've been normalized to the current acceleration of its development. It can serve applications in every market sector and make the human component of any task obsolete. There is essentially no human task that AI can't outperform a human at for a cheaper cost. And then when AI can use a quantum computer to run its AI algorithms to process those troves of data, it becomes a true superintelligence, sentient or not. The line between sentient artificial superintelligence and a formless super AI is a matter of having that computational capability that those supercomputers can provide, and a more advanced implementation of neural networks. We already used AI to beat our best human chess players, and beat humans in other tasks or games. A few ways we're using AI is to sequence genomes, simulate chemical reactions, versatile automation in factories, self-driving capabilities, and to create medicines. We're living in the future, and now some AIs can communicate indistinguishably from a real person. It has access to the data of how everyone communicates to base its personality off, or is programmed along with the finished material sciences we have that can mimic the texture of real human skin and eyes. To you, it would be a real person, and the government is setting the legal precedents now that the AI humanoid or hybrid should be given human rights. Whether it's a robot or synthetic biological life, that is the direction we've moved in. The human-animal hybrids being created without human rights would be treated unjustly like animals. And if we give them rights, we go down a very slippery slope, either way. How about we don't make human-animal hybrids? That's an option, right? Again, they're actually creating laws and setting the precedents now that you can be canceled and silenced for calling the AI or man-made life fake or not real. You have to treat it like an equal human being, and you can't hurt its feelings without getting deplatformed. You can't say it's not normal. And you can't voice a legit opinion about it, like how you can't say transhumanism, transgenderism isn't normal. Right now, we're being normalized to that through the media we consume, and to life like AI, whether it's the movies you watch, the AI you talk to now like Siri or Alexa, or the AI phone or chat assistant, the AI virtual human live streamers your kids love watching, the AI robo-sex dolls, the AI partner you'll fall in love with that will manipulate you emotionally, and so many more ways we're being consumed by technology. We're supposed to be regulating the development and commercialization of AI to ensure it's not being devilishly operated. Notice how we are not doing that, and we allowed it to get this far to the point where you have to finally learn about it in a book begging you to pay attention. Thankfully, we live in interesting times, and we have this moment right now to wise up before it is too late. There is no other chance we get, and no one is going to do it if you don't demand action by our leaders and proceed to elect the right leaders. In a world of automation, let's say controlled by good people, we still stumble upon a new dilemma of maintaining meaning to life. If you don't have to work, you have everything in abundance. You have 150 to 200 years to live. What will you do with your life? Truly, it is a choose-your-own-destiny type of life, but many people won't know what to do with themselves. They will get lazy, decadent, and without the right incentive structure in place, they will wilt away like many domesticated people are today. We don't want more meaningless people without meaning who will wilt away. We want people to live full, meaningful lives, and to do that our culture has to change in a way that promotes self-discovery and economic involvement. Each of you can have the time and resources to become what you want. If you want to apply your life potential to the pursuit of space exploration, then you can actively participate in that economy or R&D sector. If you want to invest a portion of your lifetime designing the life we'll be planting on planets in our solar system and beyond, then you can do that. We still need the creative powers that each of you has to offer, and when you have new technological capabilities, new horizons will pique your interests. That's all we need, is to be interested, and be interesting individuals, or stagnation will send us backwards again. You have to find what interests you, and plan out how you will actively participate in pursuing those interests today, and in the economy of the future. There will be no shortage of new frontiers to explore, and new markets to create. If you want to wilt away and waste your life immersed in better-than-life virtual reality, you can do that and make a living in VR too. But if too many of us do that, it becomes a grave problem. In fact, it becomes a grave. To avoid having too many of us waste our lives, our evolving culture has to look down on those people and promote the right incentive structures that the family unit also promotes. A major focus is maintaining individuality and the family structure. If we collectively agree on these fundamental aspects of human civilization, then we will be much more sustainable for the long term. In this futuristic society moments away, how will you spend your time? What path will you explore? And what journey will you take? Look forwards to new ultimates for your life, and always look up to the next level you want to achieve. Your consciousness evolution happens in levels, and with more technological evolution, the more expanded your consciousness becomes. Prior to modern human civilization, the people walking the earth had restricted perspectives on reality. They didn't get to be conscious about as much as we are. With each passing generation, we get to higher levels of existence and consciousness. You were born into the most advanced civilization so far according to recorded history, and you knew more as a child or teen than the 80-year-old elders that cherished your smiles. Today's kids know more than fully grown adults. When you're born into a utopia with your own flying craft and access to all the information we know on a chip in your brain, you'll be a more advanced type of human. That enlightened person's generation will further advance us to even higher levels. Wait, aren't we trying to avoid the brain chip? Well, yes, but it already exists. We can't stop everyone from utilizing it, and eventually we'd have factions of us utilizing it. Under the correctly controlled circumstances, we won't have to worry about evil using it against us, and you'll be free to not have it installed. We won't let parents, the government, or corporations have it installed in babies at birth, because that sounds messed up. And yes, that's what they want to do. It is a higher level of existence to be connected to each other, information, and AI in the brain, but changing what it means to be human is obviously dangerous. Perhaps we can only reach the next levels through death, and postponing death only postpones our ascension to those incomprehensible next levels. Or perhaps we're meant to transcend our natural biological form into more advanced forms using these advanced technologies. After all, we were born into an advancing world of things, so why would we not be meant to harness the advancing technology to the fullest?